World War II is usually remembered through battles, weapons, and decisive moments of combat. What is discussed far less often is the quiet, relentless toll of mistakes, errors in judgment, planning, training, and daily survival that killed staggering numbers of people without a single shot being fired. In many theatres, non-combat deaths rivaled or even exceeded battlefield losses. These deaths were not inevitable. They were the result of human decisions colliding with harsh reality. Understanding these mistakes matters because they reveal how war actually kills and why survival depended as much on discipline and awareness as on firepower. The first mistake was underestimating exposure. Cold, heat, and weather killed soldiers in every theatre of the war. Armies repeatedly entered campaigns unprepared for climate extremes. Frostbite and hypothermia devastated forces on the Eastern Front, while heat exhaustion and dehydration crippled troops in North Africa and the Pacific. Exposure deaths often occurred during movement or rest, not combat. Soldiers froze in defensive positions, overheated during forced marches, and died simply because they could not regulate body temperature. Commanders learned too late that climate was a weapon. The second mistake was ignoring foot care. Trench foot, immersion foot, and infected blisters killed and crippled enormous numbers of soldiers. Poor footwear, wet conditions, and lack of rest destroyed mobility, leading to infections, amputations, and death. Armies that enforced foot inspections and hygiene saw survival rates improve dramatically. Those that didn't paid heavily. A soldier who cannot walk is a soldier who cannot survive. The third mistake was contaminated water. Unsafe water sources caused outbreaks of dysentery, cholera, and typhoid. Entire units were incapacitated by drinking untreated water during advances or retreats. Water discipline often broke down under stress. Soldiers drank from ditches, rivers, and shell holes. The result was dehydration compounded by disease, weakening troops far more effectively than enemy action. The fourth mistake was poor sanitation. Latrine placement, waste disposal, and personal hygiene were often neglected, especially during rapid movement. Disease spread quickly in crowded conditions. Typhus, malaria, and dysentery killed thousands. These deaths were slow, miserable, and largely preventable. Disease was one of World War II's most effective killers. The fifth mistake was improper clothing use. Many soldiers died not because they lacked proper clothing, but because they used it incorrectly. Overbundling caused sweating, which led to hypothermia. Removing layers at the wrong time caused shock. Cold weather manuals existed, but honestly, training often didn't. Soldiers learned through suffering how to manage heat, moisture, and airflow, sometimes, a bit too late. The sixth mistake was fire misuse. Improper fires caused burns, carbon monoxide poisoning, and, detection by the enemy. Soldiers died in enclosed spaces from fumes or revealed positions that drew artillery and airstrikes. Fire was essential for warmth and cooking, but misuse was deadly. Survivors learned restraint and discipline the hard way. The seventh mistake was poor nutrition management. Calorie deficits weakened soldiers, slowed reaction times, and increased susceptibility to illness. Rations were often misused or, consumed too quickly. Starvation rarely killed outright, but it made everything else more lethal. Exhaustion led to accidents, poor decisions, and, collapse. The eighth mistake was exhaustion and overexertion. Forced marches, lack of sleep, and constant stress led to fatal mistakes. Soldiers collapsed, fell asleep on guard, or suffered heart failure. Fatigue killed indirectly, but, consistently. Units that ignored rest cycles paid for it in lives. The ninth mistake was ammunition and explosives mishandling. Accidental discharges, improperly stored grenades, and unexploded ordnance killed countless soldiers. Training accidents alone claimed thousands. Carelessness around weapons proved just as deadly as enemy fire. The 10th mistake was poor vehicle safety. Transport accidents killed massive numbers of troops, overloaded trucks rolled, ships sank due to poor evacuation procedures, aircraft accidents claimed crews before reaching combat. War, really magnified the dangers of machinery. The 11th mistake was navigation failure. Soldiers got lost, wandered into enemy positions, or, succumbed to exposure after losing their way. Poor navigation skills killed patrols quietly and completely. Maps, compasses, and training were life-saving tools when used correctly, and, fatal liabilities when they weren't. The 12th mistake was assuming non-combat meant safe. Many deaths occurred behind the lines. Training areas, supply depots, and rest camps were deadly due to complacency. The belief that danger only existed at the front killed soldiers who relaxed discipline when it mattered most. World War II proves that survival is not just about fighting, it's about managing the environment, the body, and, human error. Combat was only one part of the threat. The armies that adapted fastest reduced non-combat deaths dramatically. Those that ignored these lessons honestly paid in lives. These mistakes are sobering because they were preventable. They remind us that in extreme conditions, survival depends on fundamentals. Discipline, training, and respect for reality, mattered more than bravery. If you found this breakdown valuable and want more history that examines how wars really worked beneath the surface, subscribe to the channel, share this with others who study World War II seriously, and keep digging into the lessons written between the battles.